ask one question, please feel free to raise your hand. First come, first serve on that, and get your coaching.
Kids hurting, and there's
Get your coaching done with Ray Higdon. We also have the Black Friday special going on today. But of course, here is your coach, my mentor, Ray Higdon.
Hey, thanks, Thomas. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. What's going on? Let me spotlight. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Awesome, awesome. What's up? What's up? All right. Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving? I know some of you are international, so maybe you didn't celebrate Thanksgiving. I understand. What's up? How are we doing? I figured we'd have a tight crew on here today. A bunch of people probably out Black Friday wrestling. So congrats on being on here. Way to go. Awesome. All right. So what was your favorite thing about yesterday? Drop it in the comments. Let's see it. What was your favorite dish? What was your favorite moment? What was fun? What's up, Robert? You guys still food hungover? You can't comment or what? What's going on? What's up, Amy, Belinda, Kim? Let's see. Patty, Peggy, Virginia. Morning, morning. Good evening for some of you. Good morning for some of you. Man, this will be a short free coaching Friday if y'all ain't participating. What's up? Family, thank you, Patty. All right. Amy, what's up? Very nice. All right. Robert, praise God for family. Amen. Absolutely. What's up, Stuart? What's happening? So if you are watching on live and you're not on the Zoom, if you want to get on the Zoom, you can. That's who I actually take the questions from and coach them live. And you can go there. You can get on by going to higdongroup.com/free coaching. Let me just show you a quick little something first before we get started. So if you're on the Zoom, feel free to raise your hand. We'll go in order and try to get through everyone, of course. What's up, AJ, Jenny? Okay, so how am I going to do this? Well, I'll show. All right, so if you go to higdongroup.com/Black Friday, let's see if I can share my screen. Uh-oh, what's happening? All right, hold on. Oh, hold on there. Okay, Google Chrome. There we go. So if you go to higdongroup.com/Black Friday, you'll see we have some absolute ridiculous deals going on. Our journals that are normally $24.99, they're $5. We got quite a few different colors. This right here, the Progress Planner, which is I got one right here. Hold on. We actually spent hundreds of dollars. Oh, y'all ain't seeing on the live stream. You're not seeing it, are you? All right, hold on here. Okay. Let me show. Hold on, gang. Share screen. Window. There we go. Okay. Let me show you on live stream first. Okay. So the Progress Planner. So this we have $5. This is we've sold hundreds and hundreds of these for $40 each. This is super nice, but we spent hundreds of dollars buying planners, and we just came up with a better one, right? So we think this is the best planner on the planet. You can get it for $5. The backpack, which I know will sell out. You guys are a lady yesterday got 4 of them as soon as we put it out. And so we designed those. We had those specifically designed. It's vegan leather. based on a bag you get at Saks or Nordstrom for $250. It's $8. My vibrational money immersion book, $1. Persuasive headlines, $2. We have these battery chargers for $2. They're like low battery packs. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Okay. And so there you go. HigdonGroup.com/Black Friday. If you want to check those deals out, they definitely will. There will be multiple that'll sell out. My leadership book, which I think on Amazon is $12. It's $5 today. And so get it if you want. Get it if you want. All right. So let me stop that share and let me fix the live here. Then we'll get into coaching. All right, all right, all right. Here we go. Zoom, boom, and there we go. Okay. All right. So we got Belinda in the house. Belinda, let's see how we can help you. All right. What's up, Belinda? You got to unmute yourself there. Looks like you're still muted, Belinda.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Now I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hi, I'm on my phone here.
That's okay.
Hi, Ray.
Hey.
I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Yes, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Sure.
But we're pretty grateful, but anyway.
Great.
And just a quick one, because there's nobody asking.
Sure.
I was restricted again on my WhatsApp with my cold messaging, so I have to rework my cold messaging. But could you just tell me is it a good idea to advertise? They have a special here in South Africa. It's not very expensive, and you can send out an advert. And I did it a couple of years ago, and we get quite a lot of people answering. And I thought that might be better than the cold calling. And perhaps if you could just tell me if that's worth anything, or if you think it's a good idea.
So, I mean, typically you either have time or money, right? And so if you got money, you can certainly test advertising. The big thing with that you just have to understand with advertising is as soon as you start spending money to drive traffic or leads, you have to track. You have to track. You have to know where each person is coming from. And because where people screw up with this is they're like, oh, you know what? I got an extra $100. Let me just buy some ads, see what happens. And so they continue to do all that they normally do, and they throw this $100 and they don't properly track it. You need to know, did someone come from social media or did someone come from the ad? And you need to know exactly. Yeah, go ahead. I'll be right out. Shut the door, buddy. And so we need to know exactly where each lead comes from. We need to know the metrics. This is for the analytical person. So the person that just kind of wings it, ads are not for them, because the point of advertising is to create the ability to spend more. So you're wanting to be able to spend $100, make $110, put $500 in, make 700, put $1,000 in, put 10,000 in, put 50,000 in. And so the point of advertising is to create the ability to spend more. It is not to just let me ramp up some sales in a short period of time. It's to create the sustainable way of driving leads and traffic. And if you're doing it for any other kind of thought around that, then it's the wrong idea.
Okay, so you have to do it with a plan, not just should I try it this week and next week not?
Correct, right? Because it's it's rare for you to just launch an ad and boom, it's profitable. Usually you're going to have to tweak, and then advertising, programs will change. So you got to adjust. And so it's really a fine tuning. It's for the metric driven kind of person, or you get someone who is analytical and is metric driven, then do it. And so, just that's the big deal. You got to track, you got to have an analytical mind, or have someone with an analytical mind that's running it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. Okay. All right. That was Belinda. So if you're on the Zoom, raise your hand if you'd like me to coach you here on Free Coaching Friday, or we can wrap it up quick. If y'all are turkey hungover. All right, we'll go to Alyssa. If you can jump on camera, I can highlight you. Uh-oh. Okay, when I call you, don't put your hand down because then I lose you. Okay, there we go. I found you. Okay. All right, Alyssa, you're muted. There we go.
Hi.
Hey, what's happening?
Thank you so much for doing this. I just hopped on Instagram and saw you were on, and I have a big push right now, so it's perfect.
Perfect.
So I have been talking to somebody about starting a business with me. I work with Enagic and for about a year. And recently she's been more interested. We hopped on a quick call, just a casual call to answer some questions. And it went really well, but she had like some further questions. So I guided her to get into our discovery process. I thought that was a good next step for her. And then we were going to get back on another, like, little bit more, like a little bit deeper call. And she went through the discovery process and she messaged me and was like, we can still get on a call basically, but I just, full transparency, I don't think that this is good for me right now because she's like, I think that I would like to do it down the road. Her daughter's like 6 weeks old, but I think I'm going to go back to my other job after maternity leave and go part-time because I want to be able to be more present with my daughter for the first year of her life. And I don't think starting a business right now would be a good idea. So I'm going to go back to my part-time job instead, and maybe I'll revisit this when she's a year old. So I'm just kind of like trying to figure out how to respond to that. I want to get her on a call anyway. She's not like, I don't want to get on a call anymore. But
Sure.
She was like, I don't because I know that you're busy. So I don't want to take up your time because full transparency, and she told me that. So I obviously want to get on a call with her still so I can kind of break that down a little bit. Do I respond kind of focusing on like, let's get on a call still, or do I handle that objection in the DMs?
Yeah,
I'm kind of struggling how to respond to that.
Sure. So I would say, I certainly understand. Tell you what, are you a mom?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say, I certainly understand. And as a mom, at minimum, let's hop on the call and I'll at least be able to give you some advice. Okay. So what I don't want to do is so if there's one thing that I manage in all of communications, it is resistance. I'm trying to reduce resistance at every step of the game, at every angle. Okay. And so if I try to tackle this objection here in the messages, then it's going to create resistance to even get on the call of, oh, she's going to try to close me anyway. And so I want to make it resistance free, like, ooh, I'll at least get advice from another mom, And so when we get on that phone, I just want to, paint out the future for her. Hey, with this part-time job, when would you be free to stay at home all the time? And the answer is, probably never. And so, I would just say, hey, totally good if you're wanting to go and have, a steady thing, while you build something. But what if you built this on the side, like most people do, and got to a level where you can just get rid of that side job at some point and spend a whole lot of time, all your time, with your kid. So I'm going to ask, those kind of questions, and I'm going to paint that picture out for her of, hey, maybe this is your time to start your freedom, and whether you do the side job or not is not ideal. I would try to break I either do this or the part-time job. And, I would, because personally, for most people, they probably should have a job while they're building the business, like at least a part-time job. It's probably better and safer for most. And so I just, if you delay this and go to the part-time job and just delay this, when would be the right time? Probably never, like never's the right time. But when's the right time to get free? That's always. And so I would just, paint the vision of, hey, whether you go back to the job or not, maybe it's time for you to create that freedom in your life. And it starts with getting started. Yeah. And feel free to share, I always encourage you guys to be loaded with stories, have story after story of stay-at-home moms and different things that have done it. So you can share that with them. I would be careful not to share like, fast success stories or stories that are, the exception, like, oh, well, Lacey made 10 grand her first month. Like, I'd be careful not to say that kind of stuff because then you set a disappointment timer. But I would share stories of moms who took the leap and built a serious business and have been at home with their kids for the last 10 years. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of the angle I would take.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking,
I would resist the urge to say, don't go back to that job, because maybe that's a good idea. What I would try to help her understand is it's not a good time. It's never a good time to delay starting the business that'll set you free. And that job is not going to set you free, but maybe you do it in the meantime.
absolutely. Cool. So yeah, I was thinking that for the call, and then thank you. So just kind of being like, I would like to just give you, you want to still like get on that call and just kind of give you some advice or,
Yeah, I would say I absolutely understand. So she feels heard. And I say, well, let's still hop on the call. And at minimum, I'll at least give you some advice from another mom. That's going to pretty much guarantee she'll get on the call. And that's what I'm shooting for.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Good luck.
Thanks.
Awesome. All right. We got Kim in the house. What's up, Kim?
Morning, Ray. How are you?
Hey, what's happening?
Well, I wanted to find out, get your thoughts on, for me, I have a horse business. And so I struggled for a while with my horse business. And some of it I know is because I don't make a lot of offers. And some of that is because, is it too high that I've got? Is it too low? Is it not good enough? And then sometimes I get into the comparison of other people and stuff. And telling them what I have for sale, it almost sometimes feels like, oh, but I may be taking money away from them. So I have all this stuff going on, and I didn't know if there's something you could see that is holding me back, or some things I can do to help.
Yeah. So, two things. One is we want to look at possibility, not probability. And so probability is people won't do anything, right? So like if I'm a gym owner, I would feel unethical selling a bunch of gym memberships because most people don't do anything, right? And so I remember, when we sold this, let's see, this award right here is I earned $1 million through one of our funnels called the 3-Minute Expert. It's a blogging program, and this was a few years ago. And so we did over $900,000 in 10 days selling that program, and I'm getting all kinds of amazing testimonials. Like there was this one guy, I forget his name. There was this one guy in San Francisco that he used it to help his dad's business that was making cabinets, and they had never sold anything online. They did $76,000 in sales the first month of using that program. Right. So I'm getting all these amazing testimonials. I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. This is amazing. And then I'm looking at my stats, and I just happened to click the wrong button that told me what percentage of buyers had even logged in. And it was 5%. 95% had never even logged in. They bought, never logged in. And I'm like, oh, like it just hurt. It just stung. And then I thought about it. I'm like, man, I have hundreds. Well, I don't know about hundreds, but maybe at that point, 50. I had 50 amazing testimonials, but like so many people didn't even log in. And it's such a, juxtapose of, man, like I feel so weird that people buy stuff and they don't do anything with it. but the people that do have breakthroughs. And so it kind of helped me to just be okay. Some people are going to do something, some people aren't. And if I make everyone safe because of the people that don't do anything, then I also prevent breakthrough. Then I also prevent freedom. Then I also prevent that guy in San Francisco making $76,000. And so I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to do my very best with what I offer. Some people are going to do stuff. Some people aren't. That's just the way it is. And I've had probably my craziest example. I had a lady buy 2 different coaching packages from me, totaling $70,000. She showed up for one call. For one call. And now she, just so no one feels bad, she does very well. She's got 600 units in real estate. She's worth, tens of millions of dollars. So for her, it was just like, no big deal. Right. But I've seen that, and I've seen the frustration of probability. People aren't going to do anything. They're not going to follow your diet plan. They're not going to do whatever. Possibility. And I will continue to fight for possibility. So that's kind of number one, is what is possible with the thing that you're selling? What is it? You're selling something horse related, or you're selling something else?
Yeah, I want to help people with their horses.
Okay, to help people with their horses. Okay. All right. And so what have you seen? So kind of like my stories of San Fran and everything, what have you seen with people that actually use your courses?
Well, one of my online courses, I only had people buy it, and one of them never opened it. The other did 3 modules, and then she just quit. And I sent her messages on Facebook.
Do you have any breakthrough stories? Has anyone been through your courses and had a breakthrough?
My course, agility course, that I'm not offering right now yet.
Okay. Because, you want to, okay, let me ask you this. Because it's not a big sample size, right? If people went through your course, would they have breakthroughs?
Yeah.
Then it's your duty to sell it more. If you have something that would help somebody, your job is not to force them to do it. Your job is to be better at selling it. And there will be a percentage of people. For me, it was 5%. 5%. Now it probably increased, but it just happened to be like the first month or month and a half that I logged in and saw that number. But for me, I got a ton of testimonials out of 5% who had logged in. And so if I beat myself up over all the people that don't do the sit-ups, then I'll just close every gym. But there are people that will do the sit-ups. There are people that will do the program. So that's kind of number one. You got to be, my buddy, Mark Hoverson, he used to say, you have to be vaccinated from the idea that everyone's going to do the work. And you got to see possibility. You got to see who is going to do the work and fight for that person that is hungry, that is high desire, right? Because if you don't fight for that person, then you're just going to close up shop. Number two is, I would just, curiosity, how were your parents with money, or whoever you grew up with?
My that he would go and buy and not look at the price. My mom was one of those who would buy and then feel guilty about what she bought at, and figure out, okay, I'll figure out how I'm going to pay for it later.
Yeah. So it's very likely, usually our money thoughts and beliefs often come from not necessarily our parents and what they told us, but what we observed of our parents. So I would guess you're trying to protect those who are like your mom out there. There may be a piece of you that says, well, I don't want someone feeling bad that they bought my thing, so let me just not sell my thing. Does that resonate at all?
Yeah.
And so instead, look at the person who's on their hands and knees at night praying, wishing that they could do a better job with their horses, that if only they found your program, if only your marketing was better, they would find your program and change their life. So it is your moral obligation for you to get better at marketing, for you to get better at sales, so long as you believe in what you deliver. Not in who consumes it, not in who logs in, not in, if they'll do the work or not, but in what you produce. If you have a moral obligation, if you believe in what you sell, to get better at sales so that you can impact the world.
And I like marketing, and that's one thing I have been working on, getting better at sales, because I know it's a weak area for me.
Yeah. Because I'm going to guess, you feel like maybe you're, in your lane when it comes to working with horses. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe this was my God-given gift.
Yeah. So, this is kind of like the parable of the talents, right? So if God gives us a gift, we're to be a steward of that gift, and we're to shine, right? We're called to be the light of the world, the city on the hill that can't be hidden. Well, if we don't get better at marketing and sales, we can be very easily hidden. And so you might, if you haven't read it, you might get my book, Faith Driven Wealth. That might help. But I think I don't think it's like a money. I don't think it's a money thing for you. I think it's associated with, I don't want people to feel bad like my mom felt bad when she bought stuff. And you just, and by the way, you're going to get that. You're going to have people that buy and don't do squat. But you still have to fight for the people that are hungry, that are high desire, that are going to use your program. You got to spend more time focused on them, not the ones that are just looky-loos. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So focus on them. But first, like we need to sell enough or give enough value in some way to see people implementing some things. So there's people that have told me over the years, because I've been doing this for a long time, there's people that have told me, Ray, I've never bought anything from you, but you helped me hit 6 figures with your free coaching Friday. I'm like, oh, cool. Awesome. Like, I think that's great. Like I don't have a problem with that. And so I have plenty of evidence of what I do works. So I'm okay flipping the switch of let me sell as many things as possible because I know it works. Now, do they work? I can't guarantee that. And I can show someone how to, become successful. I can't show someone how to want to become successful. Just like you can show someone how to properly work with their horses in whatever way, you can't make them want that, right? And so, just keep that in mind and just go out and impact the people you're called to impact.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Good. And I'm sure a lot of people on here struggle with that. So thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to Amy. Hey, Amy. Good. How you doing?
Good, cold here.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out, I don't think she's on the live anymore, but Alyssa's story. What about feel, felt, found approach?
Yeah. So feel, felt, found is a solid, framework of handling objections. It's a good starter. It's usually not thorough enough if the objection is complex. So, hey, I understand how you feel and felt. In fact, I felt the exact same way. And what I found is right? So that is a good framework. And that will just by itself can overcome some objections that are, I think, smaller in nature. But I think what you're going to need to do is pull more out of the prospect. Paint the vision and say, well, okay, let's say you don't do the business now and you go back part-time and, what does 5 years look like from now? When will there be a good time for you to start a business? And just helping them realize that, oh, there probably isn't a good time. And if there isn't a good time, well, maybe I just make the leap now. And so I do like feel, felt, found though. It's solid. I mean, you can use it with almost anything. sometimes you'll have to use a little bit additional, stuff.
My question is,
Yeah.
getting past the no's, because I don't want to bug people. I mean, if they say, not right now, or,
Sure.
for the business, or
Yeah.
whether it's, I don't have the money, or
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't want to bug people, and I need help following through, I guess.
Sure. So there's two things that dictate conversion rate, and that is, and conversion rate is, what percentage of people are you talking to do you actually close? And the two things that dictate that are posture and position. Posture and position. So posture is the management of the energy of the conversation, and position is recognition of where the prospect is. Those are the two things that dictate conversion rate. Now, conversion numbers is indicated by pipeline, right? If I only talk to 2 people, I can only close as high as 2 people. But as far as conversion rate, it's posture and position. So posture is managing the energy of the conversation. So so here's the prospect. When they pull away, you need to have a type of pull away. But what most people do is when the prospect pulls away, they lean in. So if someone says, well, I'm really busy, I don't think I have time for this. That's them pulling away, right? Well, most amateurs would say, well, you can do this in minutes a week. It's very part-time. You can do it in the spare corners of your schedule. So that's them chasing. And so if someone says, so an example, I'm not saying this is the one to use every time, but the example is someone says, I don't have time for this. Well, if you don't have time now, when will you have time? So whether you join this or not, you may need something that creates residual income. So that's more of a pull away. Or, no, I'm not interested. Okay, cool. Do you know anyone that does want to make some extra money? See, I'm not chasing them. I'm pulling away too. So one of the examples that I use is in I was on a 3-way call, and we get on the phone, and the first thing this guy says, he says, I've tried a bunch of these things and none of them ever worked. Right? So what would the amateur do? The amateur would say, well, this one's different. It's really amazing. We got a great comp plan. It's ground floor. It's patent pending. It'd say all this nonsense. Basically would dance for him. Okay. So he says, I've tried a bunch of these things and none of them ever worked. And I said, well, what makes this time any different? And then he was like, well, I need to make money and I'm coachable. I'm like, oh, okay. And then later in the conversation, he goes, tell me about the comp plan. He like barks it at me. Like the old Westerns where they're shooting at your feet. Dance, boy. Right. So he's like, tell me about the comp plan. And I said, well, did you know the comp plan of those other companies? And he goes, yeah. I said, guess it didn't matter. Now he didn't have an answer to that. And I knew he wouldn't. Like he was like, oh crap. All right. And I said, I'll tell you what, you can learn the comp plan. I'm not going to explain it to you. There's a video online, but apparently that's not the key to success. If you're coachable, I'll show you how to make money. And he moved forward because we led the prospect with posture. And so it's posture and position that dictate the conversion rate. So Wednesday night, I was on with a sales team. And so sometimes I'm hired to do like a 6-month thing with teams. And we just have a blast, man. It's so much fun. And so one of the ladies got on there and she had a spicy prospect. I love spicy prospects, right? Because if you're spicy, I get to be spicy and we have fun. This is just, why not? And so the lady says, she goes, who has that kind of money just laying around? Right? Just far pulling away. And what would the amateur do, right? The amateur is, well, there's a cost to starting a business and there's right? It's just a boring, like logical thing. Me, if someone says, who's got that kind of money laying around? I mean, I've said, Well, if you don't have money laying around as an adult, like you need something. You need to do something, don't you? You're saying you don't have this extra money in your bank account? If you don't do this, you should do something. And so I'm pointing out. So I'm not usually trying to overcome the objection. I'm usually trying to mess with the mind of the person that created the objection and get them to think differently. And so, you know, it's more like not just answering the objection, because you'll find most people that are objection answerers aren't very good at closing. It's what is the mindset of the person. Like, it reminds me, my wife, she was doing a presentation, and this guy, he was, you know, sitting in the front row, he had suit and tie on, dressed to the nines. And she goes, "Hey, what'd you like best about the presentation?" He said, "I work 70 hours a week." Like this was like a badge of honor or something. And she goes, "Ugh, how long you got to do that for?" And he was just like, and I could see him like seeing his career and like how often he works all the time and how there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And it warped his mind to be like, crap, maybe I should do something. Maybe I should look at an alternative. And so like, that's usually what we're after, is not to answer the objection, but to, you know, but sometimes you're going to get no's. I mean, that's, you know, that's just a fact. I found that the best closers that I know and that I've met in like direct sales, at least in network marketing, they close about 30%. So that means 7 out of 10 tell them no. And, you know, that's, you know, in baseball, if you hit 3 out of 10 pitches and you strike out 7 times out of 10, you go to the Hall of Fame. And so I think there's too much pressure. Some people have too much pressure on themselves to close every person. I've never seen it, not consistently, at least, you know. So
Is your wealth book the one that's got the posture?
um
One of your books, I've seen that in.
I talk about it some in the social media book, and we also have our script book that you can buy. That's hignengroup.com/scripts. So yeah, you can get it. It's digital. You can just download it. But yeah, that actually gives you postured scripts. The social media book does talk about posture, and I have different courses and, you know, things like that too. Cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, rooting for you. All right. Okay. Is it Esna? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Hey, how are you? How can I help?
Like I've been following you for a long time, and I've been listening to your trainings and some of with Kirsty and those. But like every time I've got a question, sometimes I don't get to talk to you, and I've been implementing what I learned. But I think tonight, like I'm wanting to do more outreach messages, and as I've been trying to do that 10 a day. By the end of the week, it's like, oh, it's maybe like 20 or 30. It's more than I used to do.
Okay.
And the question is like, how do I do more of that? Like when I post stories, I try to see who didn't talk to yet, and I get people from there. But sometimes it's just like 4 people on that day. And yeah, like what do I need to do to get more, to reach more people?
Yeah. So I had a good question, right? Give her some love. Was that a good question? And you finally got to me. You got to ask a question. So I had a girl on my team. She was 21 years old, and she wanted to use Facebook. So she focused on Facebook, and all she did was she wanted to prospect like-minded people. Now, she did not have a brand. She did not have a following. She would not get 5 people to watch her stories. Like, you know, she's starting from scratch, 21, didn't have any of that stuff. And so she focused on thinking about, okay, who are the influencers that are people I like, that if other people like them, they would make good teammates of mine. And so she decided to target Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Robert Kiyosaki. And so she stalked Kiyosaki, Bob Proctor, and Tony Robbins pages, and she would just look at who made smart comments on their page, right? So she has no connection to them at all, but she would just look at who made smart comments. Now, I like that. Now, obviously, there's other people, right? There's Gary Vaynerchuk. There's whatever. There's a million different influencers nowadays. But what I like about that approach is, one, it's unlimited. You will never run out of people following gurus that drop smart comments, right? So you'll never run out. It's unlimited. And so she would just find someone who made a smart comment. It also shows that their account's active, because we want to be prospecting an account that's active, or else we'll be like, why doesn't anyone ever respond to me? Right? Well, maybe they haven't logged in 2 years. But if they're actively dropping a comment, that's an active account. And so she reached out to those kind of people, and she would just say, hey, I see that you're a financial planner. I work with financial planners, make them extra money. Would you be open to take a look what it is that I'm doing to help financial planners make extra money? Some would say yes. Many would say no. She hits $10,000 a month, 100% from this approach. None of her friends said yes. All of her family made fun of her until she hit $10,000 a month. And then her 2 brothers joined, her mom joined, and her dad built her a spreadsheet. And she goes on to become the #1 female income earner, and goes on to become my amazing wife of 14 years. And so I got to see her journey of going from 0 social media to 10,000 a month by reaching out to strangers on Facebook. Now, does it have to be Facebook? Of course not, right? It could be Instagram, it could be LinkedIn, it could be whatever. And so that's how you get an unlimited amount of people to talk to. Now, the only limit is if you have not been sending a lot of messages, then Facebook's going to throttle you, and you got to build the muscle, right? You might be able to send 8 messages a day, 10, 12. We got to a point where I had a guy would log into my account, and he was sending messages to my Rank Makers group, which there's 9,000 in there. And so he would send messages, and he would get to 20 a day, then 30. Eventually, he was sending 250 messages a day. So you can build the muscle to an insane amount, but you can't just go to 250 your first time, right? You just can't. You'll get your account shut down. So you got to kind of slowly chip away at it. But could you do 10 reach outs on Facebook, 10 on Instagram, 10 on LinkedIn? Absolutely. And so again, she did it without any, she had 0 connection to these people. Not everyone's going to see the message. Who cares? Not everyone's going to respond. Who cares? Enough people responded for her to do 10 grand a month and then become the #1 female earner. Does that help? I mean, that's one approach. There's other approaches. Like if you have, like with Christy, right? So Christy, she just shared this, I think 2 weeks ago, testimonial. So she hired me. I taught her how to do, cold messaging. She ran with it. She targeted a certain, niche, a certain type of person. And in less than 60 days, she did $100,000 in personal commissions from those messages. Now, she is very postured. She's very good at what she does. So results will vary. But these were complete strangers that were not liking her stories, that were not connected to her, that did not know her, did 100K in less than 60 days. Personal commissions.
I've been doing in Facebook groups as well, like connecting with people. So in the last, I think, month, I've been doing that more, or even just go and like or comment what other people say. And I can see there are people watching my stories that I'm not friends with. And then I send them a friend request, I even send them a message. So it's still like I said, it's just a new thing I'm doing. But I think that
I would still do that. I would just I would still do that. I would just mix in. We don't want to be limited by the number of people that see our story. And so I would still do that. Good idea. But you may also add that additional idea. who's someone you really resonate with? Is it, Maria Wendt? Is it, and whatever, like whoever.
Tuck Barner from New Zealand. Like, I don't know if you know, he's a minister as well.
Who is he?
So, yeah. Tuck Barner.
Mm-mm.
No. Yeah, he's a minister in New Zealand. So I've got him there as well, so I can go there and maybe just reach out, like senior outreach message there.
Yeah. You got this.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
Thank you.
Cool. And if you guys are just joining us, make sure you check out the Black Friday sale, higdongroup.com/Black Friday. We got backpacks, journals, books, battery chargers. Battery chargers for $2. Like imagine, like if you have an event in December or January or February, like imagine if you go and you just bring your team chargers. You can get the chargers are normally $20. We're selling them for $2 today. We overbought, to be honest. And so like, imagine being the hero for $20 and you go and you give out 10 battery packs. Be pretty cool. So check it out, higdongroup.com/Black Friday. All right, let's go to Sherry. Sherry, what's happening? I can barely see you. There she is.
Along the lines of turn two, I guess that's fairly new. And I've been sending out messages like that, people that view my story. And like you had said last week, don't do both of the, business or.
Yeah.
And so I would just say, hey, are you interested in this? And I'm still not getting anything. So I guess I need to do kind of like what she, like you told her to go in and see who you resonate and stuff with.
Yeah. Especially because, what I like about it is you can look at their exact comment. If it's a crappy comment, don't prospect them. But if it's one that you like, I like that wisdom. Like, I think I agree with what they just said. Send them a message and say, hey, I loved your comment on Tony's thing and or whatever. And just, we're always wanting to just tweak every word, right? And so like I'm just, crazy about making sure every word is effective as possible. And so I typically would avoid the word interested. I'd say open.
Yeah.
Are you open to taking a look? Yeah.
And that's what when people look at my story, that's why I send them a message. I say, are you open to making extra money? It depends on who it is. If I know them, or are you open to learning more about water? And then I still haven't gotten, some messages I haven't gotten back. Some messages people are like, no. So I'm just like, okay. I guess I'm not very tech savvy, so I'm not sure how to extend those messages.
Yeah. So we have a interview coming out. So I actually, it might be on the channel actually. I think we have one version of it. Hold on a second. Let me see. Let me see. So, oh, you know what? Hold on. Where the heck is it? Oh, there we go. I think we just published, but we have one of our students. Some of you have heard me talk about her as Christina Danielle. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the Zoom comments, the YouTube link, and I'll put it on the StreamYard as well. So this is one of our students, Christina Danielle, and she used our cold messaging scripts to become the #1 recruiter in her company for 4 or 5 years. And she beats out every other influencer. She beats everyone else, right? In recruiting, she's #1 in recruiting for multiple years. And so I interviewed her, and it's a really fun interview because she's just like, yeah, it's a numbers game. Like, yeah, a lot of people don't respond. So what? Like, she's just like very matter of fact. And so we did recently put that on our YouTube channel. So feel free to check that out. I put the link in the comments on Zoom and on there. But I think that may give you guys some hope because it is a numbers game. you're not, doesn't mean people are numbers, but you do need to hit numbers. And there's going to be a high percentage of people not respond to you. And that's okay. I mean, I would, if I had to guess, I would guess probably 50,000 people did not respond to me. It's okay. Enough did for me to make a decent amount of money. And so, just want to encourage you, because again, like I was saying with Belinda, you either got time or money. If you got a big ad budget, you can drive leads, right? You got $1,000 a day, you can drive leads, no problem. And they will be waiting on your doorstep. They'll be right in your inbox. You'll just call them whenever you please. But if you don't got a big ad budget, you got to have that hustle muscle. You got to do that reach out, that uncomfortable, stuff that people don't want to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. All right. Awesome. Well, there you go, gang. That was Free Coaching Friday. I hope you got value from that. And hop off here and chase these kiddos around. I appreciate you so very much. Again, if you'd like, check out the Black Friday sale, higdengroup.com/Black Friday. Again, I know our leadership book. I know our leadership book is like $5. It's like 12 on Amazon. Our battery packs are normally 20. They're $2. Our backpacks. Now these backpacks, I mean, they are high end. You right now, I know our goal is to sell out of these. We're selling them for $8. So it's silly. It's crazy. If you get that as a gift for someone, they're going to think you spent at least $100, maybe $150. And so check it out. higdengroup.com/Black Friday. I appreciate you guys so very much. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.